Welcome to the 60th episode of the series Decolonizing the Mind. We are living in times of great peril. Uh, Last week I dealt with the Iranian attack, Iranian retaliation uh, on Israel. Today I will discuss the Israeli response to that attack. Now, if you look at the media, even our critical media, they, look at the public statements of politicians and so. But I came across a very interesting source, which is called on YouTube, which is called the Israeli Defense and Security Forum, and it proclaims itself as to be the leading Israeli organization advocating for strong national security to defend Israel. So you have all kind of people from the army who are explaining their policies on the ground and their long-term vision. And I will deal with an interview of the chairman of this forum, Brigadier General Amir Afifi. He says he met this week with the Minister of Defense and the Chief of Police, and then, uses the forum to discuss the outcome of his meetings. So he gives an analysis on the differences between the tunnels in Gaza and Lebanon. He says in Gaza, it is easy to they dug all the tunnels really, really deep and created a reality where both the intelligence and the air force became really almost disabled in their ability to operate and do something meaningful. And this required us to really go into Gaza every single meter, concrete, go into the tunnels and do what we have been seeing in the last year in Gaza. Something, he said, that also takes a lot of time. So what is he saying? He's saying, so we had no clue about the whole tunnel system. And when we went there, we saw that the tunnel system was so deep that the Air Force can't bomb it. It is so secured that our intelligence doesn't know what's happening there. And remind you that the stated goals of the invasion of Gaza was to release hostages and to destroy Hamas. 1 year into the whole operation, they have achieved none of this. And now this Brigadier General acknowledged that it might take a lot of time, meaning that they haven't moved very much. They have killed many people in Gaza, but the ability to destroy the tunnel system is not there, because the tunnel system is hundreds of kilometers long. We're not talking of hundreds of meters, hundreds of kilometers, very deep, and apparently Hamas and other resistance factions are able to operate there, fire rockets when they need to attack the invading forces. So that's one thing. And then he goes into Lebanon. He says, in Lebanon, there is a very different terrain because while you have a flat area in Gaza, in Lebanon you have mountains. So the tunnels is under the mountains, and these mountains are hard rock. So it means that the way Hezbollah built this under the mountains, the tunnel system, is not as it was in Gaza. And then he says, look, we are going to deal with Hezbollah. And he is boasting about the success, the pager attacks, the air bombing killing Hassan Nasrallah and top commanders. And he says now we are able, after we've done it, to do a ground incursion and finish Hezbollah off. And he acknowledged, by the way, the failure. He says in Gaza, we really went into all Gaza there, and he says the resource is very, very limited. He says Hezbollah has built on our borders, like until a mile from our borders, they have built a whole infrastructure under the ground that was supposed to enable them to storm the Israeli towns very, very fast by going out of tunnels with motorcycles, cars with a lot of explosive and a lot of weapons. And the IDF, he calls IDF, the Israeli occupation forces, is dismantling that. And this is why the operation inside Lebanon is very limited, but anything that goes beyond the first mile or two is being dealt with the Air Force. So he's saying, look, we took over the tunnel system near the border from where they will do it, but then the Air Force will finish off after the 2 miles. And our invasion of Lebanon is to enable that. And he thinks they are winning because of the success of the Pager attacks and the murder of Hasrallah and his team. And now he says we are seeing more and more forces in Lebanon begging for stopping of the war and wanting a ceasefire. And he says Israel is in contact with all the different elements in Lebanon, like the Sunni, the Christians, the Maronites, the Druze, in order to send a clear message: we are destroying Hezbollah. This is your moment to join and really kick this organization out of Lebanon, and things are moving. We are seeing things changing in Lebanon, and the idea is let's continue and not stop. We have to destroy this organization, and we need to continue not looking for a ceasefire or something like that unless they break and leave South Lebanon, and there is a really effective force that will be deployed there. So the strategy is there. We put up the Sunni, Christians, Maronite, and Druze in a coalition against Hezbollah, destroy Hezbollah militarily, force them to leave the south of Lebanon, and basically install invading force, an invasion force that controls the south of Lebanon. This is ludicrous, you know. Hezbollah has replaced its leadership, and on a daily basis they are shooting rockets into Israel, killing in the military department, they're killing military people there, and every day is going on, and they have tried to invade the south of Lebanon. They haven't moved an inch. So, but the reality in their mind is different from the reality in the ground. But you see the thinking. They don't want to ceasefire. They want to kill as many people as possible in the hope that these people will turn against Hezbollah. So he concludes, where are we now? We have reached the point, he says, which is basically dismantling the depth of Iran, because Iran is behind Hamas and Hezbollah. So they're dismantling Hamas and Hezbollah, and in a few weeks we will reach the point where really both organizations are almost completely crippled, and this creates a reality where Iran is naked, so not protected anymore by the axis of resistance. So the next step for them is Iran. He says, when we have destroyed Hezbollah and Hamas, he says, without this element safeguarding Iran, what will happen in this reality probably is that Iran is feeling that's in a grave danger. They will accelerate the nuclear plan. So we are now in a situation, we are starting a race. They are going to make a run for nuclear weapons, and we have to make a run to destroy their capabilities to produce nuclear weapons. This is what is happening, and fighting Iran is imminent now. I say crystal clear, war with Iran is imminent. This is not about what Israel is going to do in a week or a day or in 2 weeks as a retaliation to the shooting. It's much, much bigger than that. It's about a campaign that needs to end with Iran crippled and not being able to endanger Israel in any way. And this is not a day, not a week, not a month. This is a campaign that might take a few months and might take more. There will be challenges, but it's something that we know we really can win. We can do it, and it's just about retaliation. So while the Western press is talking about retaliation, this guy is talking about something else. He's talking about using this opportunity, not just to retaliate and then go back, but to cripple Iran. How do you do that? With nuclear weapons. So the guy is openly saying, look, when we are going to do there, we are going to make sure, that none of these elements in Iran that can threaten them, meaning basically the whole population of Iran, we have to destroy it. And nuclear weapon obviously is the word. So he's saying again and again, war is imminent. And he says what will happen in the US is going to impact dramatically the Middle East, is meaning the elections. So if you have an administration that understands that the only option with Iran is a military one, then we might see a joint coalition really attacking truly Iran and changing the whole reality. If you have an administration that wants to continue with the idea of appeasement in Israel, we'll have to do it alone. So we are preparing for both scenarios. But anyway, this is going to happen. Israel is not going to let Iran be nuclear. It's not going to happen. We are going to fight. So everybody who thinks that within the establishment, the military establishment of Israel, people might be hesitant, this guy is saying everybody there is going for the ultimate destruction of Iran, which they see as the head of the octopus. Now, I deal with a lot of these questions in my book, DTM, Decolonizing the Mind. Look in the index Iran, Israel, and you find a lot of information. You can download the PDF of the PowerPoint on my website, www.sandahira.com. And if you want to support the channel, subscribe to it, share it with friends, families, and colleagues, and encourage them to subscribe, get involved in discussion groups, or make a donation via sandahira.com. So thank you for your attention and hope to see you next time.